The On Fire Show is live.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the On Fire Show. This is your host, Daryl Mattel Brooks, and we have with us Felicity Joy, the co-host. I have a very special guest, Mr. Andrew Wyatt of Purpose PR. He is the spokesperson for Bill Cosby, Dr. Cosby. Hello, my brother, Andrew Wyatt.
How you doing, brother Brooks, and how you doing? And good morning, Felicity. It's a pleasure to be on this show.
Such a pleasure to have you. You're the publicist. We have questions.
Yes,
go ahead. I'm ready.
Everybody has been calling me, emailing me, wanting me to ask you some questions. And first of all, tell us about yourself and the Purpose PR.
Well, look, I worked in the news business for ABC and Fox in Birmingham, Alabama. I worked in the business for 12 years. And when Rupert Murdoch was going to sell the Fox station, it was O&O. I started Purpose PR firm in 2006 on the inside, and I officially left Fox in 2007. And I represented a number of corporations, a lot of corporations, institutions, Robin Givens, Bernadette Stannis, Thelma from Good Times, Dominique Wilkins, the STLC, NAACP, a lot of organizations, and a lot of HBCUs. And hey, look, I learned this game of public relations and crisis management in the news business. I watched how they taught us how to set people up, how to they would teach us how to go put scandals on people and from political figures. And so when I tell everybody what I do, it's hard to find. It probably doesn't exist a Black PR firm owned by a Black male. You might see some Black females, but and then it's hard to find when you see these white PR firms, these conglomerates. None of those people probably have ever worked in the industry, in the news industry. They never worked for a TV station or newspaper, radio station. So
you have the intel. You're escaped from the inside, right?
Right.
You can help people from that perspective. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that was the whole goal. That I said that I wanted to do this public relations and crisis management to help people because I saw all the stuff that we did to hurt people.
Wow. But I think you probably topped out on the hardest case that you could ever get in representing Bill Cosby. I mean, what they did to him is such a travesty. I know Daryl and I just have a heart to want to be a small part of restoring this man's reputation, which was only destroyed by lies, like every single bit of it a lie, not anything of his own accord. So again, we truly appreciate you being here. We have to ask you how Dr. Cosby is doing himself, just a couple days now, living his free life that he should have always been living.
Well, I have not told anybody where he's at. But I'm going to break the news on your show and tell you where he's at right now.
Wow.
Okay.
No media knows where he's at, so they will probably know now. But Mr. Cosby, I got him out of here on Thursday, and he's in the New York home with Mrs. Cosby. He's in New York City. She's been in the New York home for 3 weeks. Not knowing this was going to happen, she goes to different homes and check on the property. The primary residence, the compound is in Western Massachusetts. They live on 20,000 acres out there. They bought that in the 70s. But he bought this house for her. He has 2 houses on the Upper East Side, but he's at the East 71st Street house. The house that he bought for her in 1984 was a French school. He bought the entire school and turned it into a house. So he's there. He is getting, she had the barber to come there. She had him he's bathing in Epsom salt. He's been getting massages.
Good wife stuff. Take care of that man.
Yes.
She has the acupuncturist there. He's getting acupuncture 3-4 times a day. She said, Andrew, I am restoring and getting all of that prison toxin out of his system.
Wow.
And he has not seen her in 3 years. He left this home that I'm in, the Philadelphia home. He left his home to go to sentencing and knowing that he wasn't going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Did he not get visitors? How come he couldn't see her?
He elected when they took him into custody, he said to me, when I handed him over, he said, Andrew, this is the last time for a while you're going to walk me somewhere.
Wow.
He said, I'm in their hands now. And he said, you will be my only visitor. And he said, I do not want my family to see me, nor do I want a television or radio in my cell. He said, because I am here not to be comfortable. I'm here to be mentally strong.
Wow.
And I know if I have those things, it would make me too comfortable. And so he elected that I would be his only visitor. And I visited him a total of almost 80 to 90 times. Mm-hmm. And my last visit was March 8th, 2020. And then the pandemic hit on March 10th and shut the country down. So she was only able to talk to him, and to see them reconnect, been married for 57 years. The staff got me on FaceTime, and I thought I saw two teenagers. She calls him Billy.
Oh my God.
She said, Billy, I love you so much. And he said, Camille, my dear, the love of my life.
My God.
And
I cannot.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And she just hugged on him and she didn't let him go. And she said, you're not getting out of my sight. And she said, I'm taking care of you. And she had the chef that cooked him, had his food ready. She had a bath ready for him. She had his loungewear that you saw him wearing on the Cosby Show. She has that stuff made for him. And she has it tailor-made for him. And it was just beautiful to see that just to see that Black love.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. My God.
Awesome. So, one of the things I wanted to ask you, we were watching the trial a few years ago, and, I was watching the trial, all the TV coverage, and I said, who is this guy? Who is Andrew Wyatt? And, I was talking with Tom Mesereau a few days ago, and I remember asking him what organization did you represent? How did you ever get started with Bill Cosby? And he was telling me all these great things about you. And I was like, wow, I really have to meet you. I really have to sit down and talk to you about the whole Cosby case. And so one of the things that the lawyer, Tom Mesereau, was talking about is how did he feel when they said guilty? What was it like for you to having to know that Bill Cosby will be in prison? What was that like experience?
Look, we had been waiting for a verdict. And this guy, Dino, his name is Andy. He worked for the only Black judge in the courthouse. He was the clerk. And he said, hey man, they got a verdict. And it was really quick. And my heart was racing, and it didn't feel good. And so when I walked in the courtroom, Detective Schaefer, one of the detectives who was part of the setup with Mr. Cosby, he took his middle finger up and held it up at me. And I looked at everybody and I said, we are lost. We lost. And they said, no, you don't know what you're talking about. The reporters had not come back in yet. Andrew Constant had not come in. The DA had not come in, the judge. But he kept taking his middle finger, holding it up at me.
Wow. And
I turned to one of the attorneys who I brought in as well. His name is Tom Larkin out of Birmingham, Alabama. And I almost got emotional. And Tom said, look, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. He was like, you just can't do that. You can't let them, they want to take you down now. You got to use this as a moment, Andrew. He said, you got to use this as a moment of strength. Don't let them see that weakness. You haven't shown any weakness. He said, the minute they see that weakness, you're going to be out of this fight. And he said, just leave the courtroom now before anybody come back in. He said, I need you to leave. I need you to go somewhere. I need you to get yourself together.
Mhm.
And I left the courtroom. And he said, I need you to disappear somewhere. Find a back alley, back hole, back hallway. And I just rode the library. I rode the elevator. And I remember riding to the top floor and walking down from the top floor steps. And I composed myself. And then they came in and they gave the verdict of guilty.
Mhm.
And Mr. Cosby, he stood tall, he was strong, and we went back into a conference room that they allowed us to sit in. He called his dressing room, and he said, let me say this to you. He said, Andrew, anybody on my team that cries or whatever, get rid of them.
Wow.
Because this is the fight. This is what we're looking for, everybody. He said, look, we should have expected this. He said, now this is where we get our win.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
He said, look, we're just at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 more quarters.
God.
He said the first trial was a hung jury. That was the first quarter in 2017. Second trial in 2018, he said, well, I'm found guilty. He said, this is the second quarter.
Wow.
We're about to go into halftime. And he said, Andrew, you're the halftime show. You're the halftime show. He said, you're the black marching band.
Wow.
He said, you're it. And he said, what I need you to do, you're taking control of this. You're going to take control and look after my family. You're going to look after my wife. You're going to do exactly what I did when Dr. King was assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the house and sat Dexter King on my lap and read books to me. You're going to take care of the family. And that's what I've done. I've hired the attorneys. Tom Ezra was a brother of mine. He's a friend. I love him to death.
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest attorneys. The Cosbys have given me full reign. I started representing Mr. Cosby, and I was representing Dick Gregory then too. And he said, when did you meet Bill Cosby? What age were you? I said, I was 37 when I started representing him. He said, how old was Cosby? I said, he was 73. He said, what year you was born? I said, 73. He said, look, N-word, the numbers don't lie. You the baddest N-word on the planet.
There you go.
He told Mr. Cosby, he said, this is the baddest N-word on the planet. And Mr. Gregory and I, we went, after we did that, we went to Seasons 52, and then we went to the movies together. Mm-hmm. And before he passed away, the last call he made before he died was to Mr. Cosby and I. He said, I love you guys.
Wow.
So I knew then what I was up against and the fight I was up against and what I had to do. And I had to stay. Look, what they wanted was for Mr. Cosby to fade away and not be remembered. I had to be the mouthpiece because I knew the trial was over, but the trial in public opinion, the court of public opinion, was just beginning.
Yeah.
Tell us how important was that? The public opinion.
That was more important. That's more important than the trial. Look, look at Harvey Weinstein. Look at R. Kelly. They're forgotten because they don't have an Andrew Wyatt or somebody out there continually telling their story. That's why these prisons could treat them any kind of way. Look, the people at SCI Phoenix, they knew me. The warden knew me. When I would show up, everybody would come out their offices to see if I had cameras with me. When I would show up to the prison, they would have an actual detail waiting 2 miles outside of the prison and stop my car and search me. Okay. They were fearful because they knew if I had any signs of anything being done wrong to Mr. Cosby, I was going to the media. When I would visit him, they treated me like an attorney. They put me in a big private room with him. I didn't have to sit in the open with him. So I knew my influence and my power. Wow. I understood my strength. I understood, and Mr. Cosby said, look, understand, you are civil rights. You are that person. you got to walk in the spirit of some of the greatest civil rights leaders. And I said to him, I said, look, every time I touch your hand, I'm touching the Kennedy's hand. I'm touching King's hand. I'm touching Malcolm X's hand. I'm touching Nelson Mandela's hand.
Wow.
I understood what we have to do. And we have to, the attorneys, look, they have to stay and work within the confines of the law. I have no handcuffs on me.
All right.
See, I
all
don't
right,
have
all
to
right.
worry. I don't have to worry about my bar license being stripped away from me. I don't have to worry about being reprimanded by the judge because of canon laws of attacking a judge. I get to go on the attack. I'm free. That's the beauty of it. I'm free.
Yes.
And we hear that the way that Dr. Cosby empowered you before he, went into prison is the way that he was empowering people in the prison. Tom Mesereau told us, like, every day he's encouraging somebody, like every day he's talking to them about future and destiny. And we've just been so impressed, like, people half his age, a quarter of his age would go ahead and confess and take the deal, but he had that strength of character. Tell us about that.
Well, look, he started participating in the Man Up program that was created by this inmate who's been in there for 33 years for murder. They put Mr. Cosby in a maximum security level 5 prison. Bless you. And Benny Do, they call him Benny Do. Because on the streets, he was called Benny Do, because if you tell him to do it, he's going to do it. And bless you. And so we, Benny Do, Mr. Cosby started participating in Man Up. Various city council people, various state representatives would come to the Man Up program. They had a band. Mr. Cosby plays drum and upright bass. He would help them work on their intro music.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
So they would bring him out because he has his band called Cause of Good Music. And he helped them work on their music, their opening acts, all of that. He put a program together. He would tell me every time I would fly in, every week or every other week, he was like, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I'm going to do. And he would encourage those men. And he said, look, you got to, when you get out, he would make them go back to school, get educated. He would tell them, look, but when he knew they were getting ready to get out and be released, he was like, okay, you got to go back into your community and be better leaders. Find your children and make amends with them and become better fathers. It's not too late. Benny is in there for 33 years. He's serving time in there with his son, who's been in there for 10 years.
Wow.
And Mr. Cosby, he elevated those men. He encouraged them to where they started calling him the Godfather. And Benny runs the prison. And Benny told anybody, he put his whole entourage around Mr. Cosby. So when Mr. Cosby would go to chow hall, because he was in general population, blind, he'd go to chow hall, he'd go to a doctor's appointment. Benny always had 6 people surrounded by him. Minister Farrakhan summoned me to his home before Mr. Cosby was sentenced. He said, Andrew, he bought the buses for the Million Man March. He don't have to worry about nothing. He will be taken care of.
Wow.
No one touched Mr. Cosby.
Wow.
They made sure he got whatever he wanted. They called him Uncle Bill, the Godfather.
Godfather. Oh boy, that's awesome.
That's what they named him in prison. When I would come in, the inmates would say, look, Benny said, look, you a flat-foot 5-star general. And he said, man, and the inmates, murderers would come up to me and say, look, if you leave Bill Cosby, we'll have somebody come after you. Inmates would call me on the weekly and give me reports about him. If somebody talked to him crazy. If an officer talked to him crazy, he dressed them down and said, no, you will not call me Bill. I will call you Mr. or Miss, and you will call me Mr. Cosby.
Wow.
And they did that. They respected him because he respected them. Benny said, Anthony's son said, he did not walk in here as a celebrity. He walked in here as a man who he looked at us and we were all on the same level. Mr. Cosby told them, he said, look, we all have dirty laundry together. And we're going to clean it up together. So when Benny told Mr. Cosby, and we're starting to say more Anthony Sutton because we're trying to get him away from Benny as well. He said, I'm innocent. He said, there's a guy who testified in my trial saying he's recanting his testimony.
Wow.
Mr. Cosby called me and said, Andrew, he said, I need you to find him an attorney. He said, I need you to get him out here. And I found Benny an attorney and paid for it. And they filed his post-conviction relief appeal 6 months ago. And they told Benny, we're going to get you out here and you will not see this prison in 2023.
That's awesome.
And Mr. Cosby, and so inmates will call me when they got released. Andre, he had been in there since he was for 60 years almost. He got released 2 years ago. He went in at 15 years old for killing the cop. He was high on drugs here in Philly. He got released after being there 60 years. He called me, I check on him. Mr. Cosby makes me check on all of them when they get released. He gives them my number.
I knew there had to be a light at the end of this dark tunnel. I was hoping, like, what good has come out of this? Thank you so much for sharing those stories. That is just so powerful.
Look, that's the good. And people say, why would God take a man late in his life? And I always say, hey, the Most High works in amazing ways, okay?
Yes.
He's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? He knows what he's doing. And he created Mr. Cosby for this moment. And he said, you know what? I got to use you as my soldier now, as my Moses, because you got to deliver the people, our people who are Black Israelites. You got to deliver them at the hand of bondage. Trust me, I know how this works. I've done it before. I delivered y'all from Pharaoh's hands.
Awesome.
And that's the whole purpose of this. That's the light. It's the light that will take you. I gave you all of this. I'm not going to take everything away. You still have all your homes. They didn't get to take your homes away. They didn't get to take your money away from you. You have everything I gave you, but I need to use you right now. And he's using all of us. And that's how I was used.
Awesome. Awesome. You know, one of the things I was talking to you about, I guess maybe a year ago when we talked on the phone, and you talk about these couple of movements that was used by individuals to try to take down Dr. Cosby. You know, we could have talk about Black Lives Matter. We can talk about the Me Too movement. You know, what do you still feel the same way about these movements trying to take out celebrities like Dr. Bill Cosby?
That's what they're designed for. Look, to Rhonda Burke, who created Me Too, a Black woman out of Brooklyn, you know, they wouldn't let her be the face of Me Too because they said her face wasn't cute enough. In order for Me Too to gain some type of popularity, the Me Too has been out here. Tawana's been pushing it ever since she was a teenager.
Wow.
But it took the Becky. When Becky said against Harvey Weinstein and she hashtagged Me Too, all of a sudden it took a different form. They removed the Black person and they funneled they give you a few crumbs. They made her a millionaire to take down her own. Look at Black Lives Matter. George Soros. You don't have an office you can go to. You don't have an office you can go to for Black Lives Matter. 3 Black women. And look at what they're doing. You Google it. They're buying mansions. They're taking the money, buying mansions, buying homes. Okay, white people, George Soros used that to get the LGBTQ passed to the Supreme Court. Look, you got a Black Lives Matter march out there, and now you got the Black Lives Matter flag, and you got the gay pride flag and the United States flag. Come on. I thought it was about Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, this is not the legacy of Dr. King. Like, this is not it. And I'm so excited to hear that Dr. Cosby was like, passing that mantle on to you, and that you recognize, that this is the true legacy. I heard as well that that this was all these people coming forward against Dr. Cosby was very convenient when he was about to start a network. Is that right?
Mr. Cosby was trying to buy NBC and the Cleveland Browns at the same year, because he was drafted to play football for the Cleveland Browns.
My God.
And he was trying to buy them at the same year. They said this black man will slip through the cracks. We didn't know he had this kind of money. So Zucker, the president of NBC, was at Mr. Cosby's house for dinner, his New York home where he's at now. He said something racial to Mr. Cosby. Mr. Cosby got him up from the table, walked him to the door, and said, "Get out of my house, you Nazi." Called a Jewish man a Nazi. He said, "I will get you back for this one day." And he became the president of CNN, and CNN paraded the women out. That was his
yes, they did.
Mr. Cosby. He said, "I will get you back."
Wow.
Look, this is not foreign for us. We know who's doing this. We know why it's happening. This has always been a liberal agenda against Mr. Cosby. Always.
Yeah. And that's why I've said that. Taking those shows, that was a Black renaissance that transcended race. The Cosby Show, all of the different spin-offs of it, that entire era, even down to Fat Albert, all the things that he's created. But for someone like me growing up, I saw I could live in a home like that. I could have a family like that. Everyone said that. I knew that it was pointed to take that away from us. To take him away, and then now you're going to pull the shows. No, that was absolutely an agenda. It's all together.
Well, let me tell you this. Mr. Cosby had a new TV show coming out before the allegations. He was going to have one daughter left at the house, and his wife was going to be Diane Carroll. The show was coming out February 2015 on NBC, the network he saved from bankruptcy 7 times. All right. So the show was coming out. Sony Productions was producing the show. I would be on the phone when they would be developing the show, the writers. And Mr. Cosby moved away after being with William Morris for 50 years. He left and went to CAA. Well, understand, William Morris, the person who owned it, William Morris Endeavors, now is R.E. Emanuel, who is his brother, Rahm Emanuel, is Obama's chief of staff.
Yeah,
Dr. Emanuel, who wrote Obamacare. Ari was pissed at Mr. Cosby for leaving, because Ari Love's created artist agency, CAA, that Mr. Cosby went to.
Wow.
They were going to get the Bill Cosby new television show. William Morris had all of the dirt on Mr. Cosby about the infidelities. They gave it to Gloria Allred. This has been a liberal movement from the beginning against him. And we had the show coming out. Look, they had put their art collection on loan with the Smithsonian and gave the Smithsonian $10 million. Brought in Samuel Jackson to host it. That's when the Smithsonian, white people, the Washington Post, how does a black man have this art collection? That's when they ambushed him at the event. I was there in DC and brought up the allegations. It was all the planned effort. Then Zucker and Bob Huber, who wrote an article, who works for Philly Magazine. Philly Magazine is the magazine that paid Hannibal Buress to do the rape joke about Mr. Cosby. And they're the ones that put it out there. So Bob Huber, who wrote an article, What It's Like to Be a White Man in Black Philadelphia, goes on CNN with Zucker, the president of CNN, and says, "Do not let Ferguson, the murder of Mike Brown, and the holidays take Bill Cosby out the news." And they kept their feet on the pedal. Don Lemon, with his egregious behavior, paraded the women out there. I said, Don, one of the women is PJ Maston. She's the same woman that took down Marv Albert and accused him of biting. She's a part of Gloria Allred's stable. Gloria Allred has a stable of women that she bring out when it comes down to taking down a black man. Some of those same women were the same women against Tiger Woods and Gloria Allred when she came after him. Shaquille O'Neal, who settled out of court with Gloria Allred. Gloria Allred is in place with the Jews to go after successful Black men for their money.
Mm.
God.
Yeah.
My goodness, I know we only have you for a little bit of time.
Wow,
You've got to tell us what's next for Dr. Cosby. We have to believe that this really is just the halftime. And
Look, it's halftime.
it's
It's
halftime.
half.
We're up at halftime. What's next for the second half?
Look, he's 83 years old. He will be 84 July 12th. Halftime right now, the score, let's just look at it as an NBA game. We up 30 points right now. Okay, and we're about to go to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And we're about to win this championship. The halftime show came when I got the call from Nick the Hat on Thursday and said, he had an informant with the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court and said, you got to get to Philadelphia next week. I think they're going to release Bill Cosby. I got an inside scoop. I get to Philly. I get the call. I'm on my way to pay a fine that the district attorney put on him and Mrs. Cosby, $2,010 for not cutting their lawn. And I'm in the car to go pay the fine. And I have the cashier's check right here for $2,010. Now I'm in the car to go pay it. And Nick calls me, the attorneys, no one knew, Mrs. Cosby and Mr. Cosby didn't know that I was in town. And I knew he was going to get released. And Nick called me. I'm in the car with an Uber driver. He couldn't speak English, Ramon. I said, look, Nick said, they're about to let him out. I called Mrs. Cosby. She said, no way, it's not going to happen. She said, get the attorney on the phone. He said, Andrew, no, this is made up. It's a lie. I said, go to your computer. There should be an order. He said, holy crap, you're right. And now this is the halftime show, okay? We're performing. So I'm 10 minutes from the house. I said, here's $100. I tell Ramon, the Uber driver, take me to the house, 8210 New 2nd Street. Get to the house. Miss Atkins, the longtime housekeeper who's been with them for 30 years, she was supposed to be off that day. She just happened to come in. She opens the gate for me. I said, I commandeered her car, her white Subaru. And I said, I'm going to get Mr. Cosby. I get to the prison. I get him out of prison. We get in the car and I bring him home. That's the halftime show. So
it's a whole movie in itself. My God.
So we have signed a deal 3 years ago with Michelle Major. Michelle Major is a documentarian. She did the Venus and Serena documentary. She signed on a major production company. I won't announce it yet. 3 years ago, she signed them on. And a television network. It's going to be a 5-part docuseries. We've been shooting with all of Mr. Cosby's friends. We shot with Tom Mesereau in LA, and then the pandemic stopped. So they would be shooting with Mr. Cosby and Mrs. Cosby in the next month.
Wow.
I took all of the footage of Mr. Cosby. I recorded when I picked him up from the prison, all the way in the car, us talking, him in his prison uniform. I have all that on recording. Mr. Cosby every day called me every morning, and I recorded him all of his ideas for a new television show that he has in works now.
Wow.
Him and I, we're writing a book together that comes out. It was supposed to come out in August. We're gonna let it come out the first of the year.
Awesome.
So we have a lot of projects, and a lot of promoters have called us and comedy club owners to talk about him going out on tour again. So
that's
we got a
awesome.
lot of things for him.
You know, one of the questions I wanted to ask you, there are people asking me, is Mr. Cosby planning to file any type of suit against the state because he was locked up for 2.5 years unjustly?
He was locked up he was given a 3-year unwanted vacation.
3-year unwanted.
So yes, we're looking at all legal routes as we speak.
You know, one of the
Praise
things,
God.
You know, one of the things that disturbed me is that how the media, you know, as we talked about before, and other people, the media just attacked Bill Cosby. As soon as he got out of prison, you know, the media, they came after him again, CNN, MSNBC, mainly, and a lot of other, you know, liberal news sources. They just came out and attacked and brought all these women out against, you know, how they felt. It was just so disturbing. It was just one of the most disturbing things I've seen. It's like they didn't want to stop. They just kept on attacking him, even though, you know, they said that people been saying, oh, he's guilty. He got out on the a technical issue within the law and how he's guilty. He did it. He committed the crime and all this. You know, can you tell us about that? You know, Tom talked about that earlier,
Brother
a couple
Brooks,
days ago.
let me tell you this. Our constitutional rights
Mhm.
is not a technicality.
Yeah.
Our
That's
due
right.
process is not a technicality.
Mhm.
Our Fifth Amendment is not a technicality.
Mhm.
Mr. Cosby waived his Fifth Amendment, not thinking he was waiving it.
I know we're having a little technical difficulty. Just hold on with us, guys.
So I'm sitting right now in the place where the Constitution was drafted in Philadelphia. So if Pennsylvanians want to do away with their Constitution, go right ahead. So I would what I would say is that the media, look, this Bill Cosby is a $1 billion entity. He's a $1 billion individual. Every time a celebrity has a new project come out now, they utilize Bill Cosby's name because they get media attention. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we know that. And the NBC here, we always say, and we understand what these networks are trying to do.
Yeah.
But they will not win because the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court that you could go to receive relief, vindicate that his constitutional rights were violated and his due process. That's not a technicality. That's the law.
Well said. Well said. Absolutely.
So that's it.
So one of the questions we want to ask, because we thought we could have Bill Cosby on,
Hello?
Dr. Cosby,
Yeah.
is there any way that you can get Dr. Cosby to come on the On Fire show?
So I thank you guys for having me on.
Hello?
Yes.
The biggest cliffhanger, and now we have technical difficulties.
So what did you say? I couldn't hear you.
One of the things I said to Mrs. Cosby is that here on out, my goal is to highlight Black media.
Oh,
that sounded promising, Daryl. That sounded really promising.
Yes, we definitely would like to have him on. It definitely, that would be the ultimate for the On Fire show.
You guys spend your time together. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. Elevate who are not men, and that's what we're.
Well, listen, guys, we are sorry for the technical difficulties, but
that's my commitment to like sales.
Awesome. Oh, good. If he logs back in, it probably should be a little better.
Okay, yeah, have some long back in. So what was that he was saying that he would love to have Bill Cosby on the On Fire show?
Yeah, it sounded to me like you said he has a commitment to Black media.
Yeah, man. Him and Mrs. Cosby got on the phone with Dr. Benjamin Chavis, who's the CEO of Black Press USA.
Dr. Ben Chavis, I met him. Yeah, that's the man.
Yeah, who's part of Women to 10. They talked to him for an hour on the phone at 1 a.m. That was Wednesday morning at 1 a.m. Thursday morning, 1 a.m. I'm sorry. And Dr. Cosby has asked for Ben Chavis, along with myself, is to organize a meeting with Black media, not mainstream, to come to his home where he could sit down with them and have a conversation. And so that's what we're putting together. So shows like yours, and so many other shows. Those are the shows that we're going to be putting together.
I'm so excited.
We signed an exclusive deal with Michelle Major. So after the documentary and she gets her interviews, we will let her facilitate us on that. But that's the commitment I'm making to you, and I will let you know. And we're gonna set up a dinner for Black media. Stacey Brown, Black Press USA, Frankie Darcell, yourself. I have to say that ABC News, Lindsay Davis has been always in our corner, fair and balanced. Even though I don't care for CNN, Steve Forrest, the editorial producer with CNN, been there 28 years, always been a dear friend. But definitely Black media, that's our go-to. And that's what we're going to highlight, and that's what we're going to strengthen. And Mr. Cosby said, we got to empower Black media. So when they come after somebody else who has a big name or even not a big name, Black media needs to be that respected where we can make that the go-to. And that's all I sent Mrs. Cosby to when he was in prison. She did the Frankie Darcell show, Stacey Brown, Black Press USA. So my goal is to elevate and highlight and get Black media and media entities that are not mainstream, who are trying to build a brand, to put them on a national platform. And that's why I'm going to use my platform to do my celebrity, to do my name and likeness, is to highlight you guys.
Thank you. Because as Spike Lee would say, you the man. You the man.
Hey, look, man. Look. Don't put that pressure on my back. Don't give me that halo. The Most High, the God, the Creator, our God, He's the man, and He just uses me as a vessel to do what I do, and hopefully, I can stay healthy and do what I do and continue to do this fight for so many other people. This is not just about Bill Cosby. This is way bigger than him. And
we
and
are so honored. Like, we are so honored.
I am honored.
Honestly, to be at the forefront, at the head of the revolution. Daryl introduced me to Reverend Al Sampson, and he was, telling me some of Dr. King's tenets, and he said that the first line of defense when you're creating a revolution is you take over the communications. So we know that this is right in line with the real civil rights movement, not whatever twerk show they have going on right now, but the real civil rights movement, and those of us that are actually about the business of revolution understand these things. So we're honored to play our small role. It has been an absolute joy and privilege to meet you. We're excited about that dinner, but this is just awesome, and the third quarter is going to be pretty spectacular.
It's awesome, and I see you have you're sitting in front of a picture of Dr. Bill Cosby.
Yeah, this is one of so many oil paintings and so many artwork that you saw in the Cosby Show, but this is when he was probably in his mid-30s. And so, Mrs. Cosby designs all of the homes, and the artwork is amazing. So it's a painting over to the corner of him as a baby, his mother holding him in her arms. And you can't see that one there. So it's a beautiful painting. His mother standing next to the steps of the Richard Allen Projects, holding him in her arms. And she was only like 4'11", and he's 6'3.5". So.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing, you're being in Bill Cosby's home, and it's just, you're by yourself, you're chilling. I mean, I just can't imagine, you just.
This is why I live. Well, I'm in Philadelphia. He has two homes on the upper east side of Manhattan. The East 61st Street home he hasn't lived in 30 years. It's right next to Ashford and Simpson's home.
Oh, okay.
And I'll stay in that one. Or he has the Pacific Palisades home that he bought in the 80s next to Steven Spielberg. And the compound, they live on 20,000 acres in Western Massachusetts. They bought that in the 70s. I stay here. Mrs. Cosby leaves. I have two cars here that they have for me, and I live here. And whenever I'm here, this is where I stay. This is like my second.
What was it like I'm sleeping in Bill Cosby's home? What was that like the first time? Was it like wow?
Yeah, it was
that wow moment.
The first time it was in 2010, and I was like, wow, that's when I picked him up in 2010, and I came here for dinner. And this home I'm sitting in, as he told the story, it was the home that his mother used to clean, and he bought it for her.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful home. It sits on 3.2 acres right in the middle of Montgomery County, one of the most acreage you're going to find in Montgomery County, right next to Philly, the city. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, listen, I thank you for coming on. If you have anything else that you want to talk about, you can always give me a call. I guess we'll be contacting you, especially when you get back into Philadelphia. You know, we sit down, have lunch, dinner.
Well, you and I, we're going to have dinner, and hopefully Felicity will come too. But we've hosted that dinner before that I told you I want to do with Black media. So once I get the dates together, he gets his rest and all of that stuff. And Mrs. Cosby, get him. When he left this house, he said, tell the media, he said, I don't like it here anymore. I'm going back to prison. I'm going to the hands of Mrs. Cosby. So,
all right.
We love it. Yeah, once he's all prettied up, we're ready for him. We know she's going to have him feeling like a man again.
He's at 173 pounds. She said, Mr. Wyatt, I don't like him at his football playing weight. I'm about to fatten him up. I said,
all right.
I want to see him fat and happy. That's what I'm ready for. So that sounds good. That sounds good. Again, thank you so much. Thank you for all the work. Thank you for carrying on. Thank you. So that this voice could continue. And we're just going to blow it up. Like, we're going to blow up and restore his reputation. And we're getting it all back. Here we go. Touchdown.
So we're going to save this to YouTube.
We need Black women. Look, Black women, you guys you're powerful. You're special. You don't have to be a walking live graffiti billboard. Quit tatting up your face, your neck. You can hide your tattoos. You don't have to, everybody don't have to look the same anymore. You don't have to put the blonde hair on and the Kool-Aid wigs. We're special and beautiful without all of that. And just remember, corruption needs cooperation and collaboration.
All right.
And we could kill corruption when we don't cooperate with it or collaborate with it.
Oh,
all right.
God, I love it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. So thank you all for watching the On Fire Show. That was Andrew Wyatt, Bill Cosby publicist. Spokesperson, have you enjoyed yourself today? Felicity?
My God.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get at a loss for words, but you just have to understand, like, my passion is not made up about this subject. I was angry when they locked him up. I was angry when they took the shows away. That was my heritage. That was my future. That was what I know what things inspired me when I was growing up. And you just want to rip that from a person, not okay. And if I could be in any way a small part of restoration, like, I am overwhelmed. So Daryl, thank you guys. Thank you for watching, for sharing this out. It's so important that the truth be told.
Yeah, share it out. Tell everybody. I hope everybody learned something from Mr. Andrew Wyatt. And got a strong, he preached a strong message, and I am so excited. And listen, the On Fire Show, I mean, you got Andrew Wyatt, Tom Mesereau, other individuals that came on. Listen, keep on. I'm keeping on getting special guests, great guests to talk about these serious issues. And that's what Andrew Martin Luther King said. He said that we're all caught up in this great inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. And whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. And that I can never be what you ought to be unless I am what I ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be unless I am what I ought to be. Then he quotes the poet John Donne, says, no man is an island, every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. Then he goes on to say that any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind, therefore never send to know whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. And this is how we should be as a country. And let's help each other, have empathy for each other, learn to love each other, stop the negativity, and promote truth. And that's what we're trying to do here on Fire Show. Thank you all for watching. Felicity, I will talk to you. We got to save this to YouTube right quick and send it out, and on Facebook. Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.